Me, 30 years old, and my husband, 32 years old, have been married for just over 2 years, together for 2.5 years. We got married via courthouse, shortly after getting together as he needed papers. After many discussions, we knew we wanted to be together and start a family, as I wanted to have a child by 32, and he has set a hard limit of none past 35. Getting married quickly seemed like the most practical thing to do, as it would take around 2 years for the process. With both of our timelines in mind, we made it legal and started the immigration process, so that by the time we were ready to have kids, he would have been legally working in the States and be more established in a career path. Up until now, he'd been a professional athlete his adult life and is coming to retirement age. With his retirement looming and those timelines fast approaching, he has started to go into panic mode. He would make sarcastic comments about what we would do once we get a divorce and so on. And we have a very lighthearted, joking relationship. So this wasn't out of the norm, and I would go along with it. But the divorce comments became more frequent and left me feeling insecure. I'll mention it and he'll back off, but then fall back into it again, and it leaves me feeling unsettled most of the time. It's important to note that I am not only his longest relationship, but the first person he's ever lived with. He's vocal that the scenario is odd for him, and he doesn't know how to react to things that make him uncomfortable. He is a black cat, and I am a golden retriever. After prying his issues out of him, I make my best effort to accommodate his needs. I'm a very empathetic person, and I mold easily into different scenarios. He is the opposite, set in his ways and immovable on most things. But I am more than happy to adjust to put him at ease. This fact was affirmed by him when we spoke last night. A few days ago, he made one of his sarcastic divorce-style comments to me, but this time about not wanting children anymore. There are a lot of things I am happy to make sacrifices for, but this is not one of them. I told him we needed to have a serious talk about this, as this is something I would actually divorce for. So we finally hashed it out last night. He revealed things I already knew or had suspected about feelings of uncertainty in his retirement, and feeling like things in the relationship were not as exciting and fresh as they once were. How the pressure to start a family and work more had him questioning things. How the examples of families with small kids he sees and interacts with have left a bad impression, and he doesn't think he's cut out for it anymore. That he hasn't seen a successful marriage and has a negative connotation towards the term, that he doesn't know if he believes in being with one person forever, and that if we separated, he doesn't think he would want to get into another long-term relationship. He told me that if there is anyone that he could see that life working with, it would be me, because he sees all the effort I put in to accommodate his needs, and sees I'm really trying, but wonders how long that will last. He told me he feels like a jerk when he gets upset with me, and that I don't deserve it. But he has a tendency to treat the people closest to him the worst. From my side, I know that there are lulls in every relationship, but they are usually temporary. I don't necessarily believe in one person for the rest of your life either, but that doesn't mean that just because it will end, that everything in the interim wasn't worth it. And I'm scared to change my life so drastically by having a child too. But I know that's what I want. Also, that most men are unsure about the idea of kids until they actually have them. I chose this man to be my partner because of his character and values and how much I respect and love him. I know in my bones he will be a great dad, but I can't wait around for someone to figure out if they want to be with me. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel deceived as we had talked and agreed about this. And now that the clock is ticking faster, he's unsure. I know he loves me, and I do believe his word that he is unsure about what he wants, and I wouldn't want to force him into something so important if he doesn't feel ready, because that's not fair to him nor me. Do I cut my losses and start all over again? Do I wait for him to figure out what he truly wants? If so, how long? I really don't know where to go from here. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You have been soundly used, probably to get migration to the USA. He had no intention of settling down with you and having children. Truly, he has clearly duped you and was very successful at doing it. Split up fast, divorce fast, and move on. Time is ticking. Fu? I had my kids at 38 and 39 years, and they are wonderful kids. I had no issue having energy or raising them. I had very healthy pregnancies and births. 0 issues. Comment 2. I would ask him to move out and get a formal separation agreement. The two of you do not have the same life goals. If he is willing, try couples counseling while separated. If not, try to meet every few weeks on neutral ground to discuss how your lives are going and if you see a way back. If there is no meaningful change in a few months, I would seek a divorce. Now for the update. Thanks for sticking around for this update. So where do I even start? The past 2 weeks have been very eventful. Remember how my husband was making those sarcastic divorce comments? Well, it turns out they weren't just jokes. He sat me down and dropped the news. He's been seeing someone else. Yeah, you heard that right. My husband, the man I bent over backwards for, has been cheating on me. I was floored. I mean, we had our issues, but I never thought he'd go behind my back like that. And the worst part, the other woman is someone I know, someone who pretended to be a friend. The betrayal cut deep, and for a moment I thought I'd never be able to forgive him. But then he told me why he did it, and my anger turned to pity. He was scared, he said. Scared of retirement, scared of being a father, scared of being stuck. He thought by pushing me away, he'd feel more in control of his life. It's the most cowardly thing I've ever heard, and it made me see him in a whole new light. He was weak, and I was the one holding everything together. I should have been furious, and part of me was. But another part of me, the part that remembered all the good times and the love we shared, that part wanted to understand, so I did something I never thought I'd do. I forgave him. Not because I was desperate, but because I realized that holding on to the anger was only going to hurt me more. But forgiving him didn't mean I was going to let him off the hook. No, there had to be consequences. We decided to separate, and he moved out. It was tough seeing him pack his bags, but it was necessary. I needed space to think, and he needed to figure out if he was going to grow up or keep running from his problems. Just when I thought things couldn't get more complicated, they did. I found out I was pregnant. It was a shock, to say the least. I always wanted a child, but under these circumstances, it felt like some cruel joke. I told him, and for the first time, I saw genuine fear in his eyes. He begged me to give him another chance, to let him prove he could be the man I needed him to be. I was torn. On one hand, I wanted my child to have a father, to have a family. On the other hand, could I trust him again? Could I put my child through the potential heartache if he didn't change? In the end, I made a decision. I told him he could be involved in the child's life, but we weren't getting back together. Not yet. He needed to show me he could be responsible, that he could put someone else's needs before his own. It was going to be a long road, but for my child's sake, I was willing to try. So, here I am navigating this mess of a situation. I'm going to be a single mom, at least for now. It's not what I planned, but I'm determined to make the best of it. I've got a support system, friends and family who have my back. And as for my husband, well, he's got a lot to prove. Thanks for reading. My roommate plays with my heart for a year, pretending we're just friends while secretly dating someone else. So I sell the couch he loves right from under him and watch him squirm when he has nowhere to sit. We have lived together for about a year. I have met his family, friends, workmates, and the small village we live in. They also see us as a couple. We are a perfect match. Soulmates. Everything works fine. We love each other's company and have so much fun. In the early beginnings, he stated he only wanted to be friends. It evolved into intimacy, and we grew closer. I ended up staying at his place for long periods of time until I just never went back home. He didn't mind. He suggested we put up my house for rent. Then, suddenly, he changed his mind, and I literally was asked to go home. He needed space. I was devastated, wondering what went wrong. He called after a week and reminded me that he never wanted anything more than being friends, but now he'd grown fond of me and wanted to continue seeing me, as before, just not living together. I was caught just in the right or wrong moment for agreeing to see him again. And history repeated itself shortly thereafter. I came and went until I didn't go home, and he went along. We made plans, celebrated Christmas with his family, went to parties together, you name it. Until I discovered he'd been seeing this woman. I knew he had a lot of female friends, but this was someone new. I confronted him with this, wanting to know why he hadn't told me. So he had to report every time he met a friend now? He responded. I told him this made me look like a fool. No, I was just jealous, he said. And then he reminded me again that he never wanted a relationship. I had sneaked myself into his house, making myself too much at home. I'm actually not his type, and he doesn't find me attractive. I look okay, but not what he likes. I didn't know what to respond. I was flabbergasted. Then he said, but what we have is so special that it doesn't matter. I really like you. You are the only one that stays here. I want you in my life. But I won't stop seeing other women. I have tried before, but I always become a jerk in the end if I'm not free to do what I want. To be honest, he then said, I don't chase or date very much at all nowadays. There's not much going on at all, actually. We ended the conversation on good terms and decided it was best I went home. Again. Now I've been home a couple of days and I feel shoot. I believe we were in a true relationship, that he somehow changed his mind. All his actions contradicted his statement of just wanting to be friends. Everyone on earth would have thought we were together. I feel so fooled. He called yesterday, and we spoke for over 3 hours. We are back on the same track. I agreed to whatever because I love him. I know he is using me for his own gain. I get nothing but pain, but I can't leave him. Why is he doing this? What is he afraid of? I need advice on what to do. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. He didn't fool you, you fooled yourself. He was honest from the start, and you deluded yourself. He's not your soulmate. Your relationship isn't perfect because there is no relationship. And he doesn't want one, like he told you, multiple times. You have no right to say he can't see other women or to force your way into his home and just refuse to leave. Just because you want a relationship doesn't make it so. It's not just your call. The only thing you have the right to do here is leave if you don't like it. Comment 2. He told you why he's doing this. It's convenient. It works for him. His needs are met and yours are not, and he doesn't care. He doesn't want to give dating woman much energy, and he doesn't have to give you much of anything at all. But he still gets all the girlfriend perks he'd like. Why the hell wouldn't he keep doing what he's doing? He's not afraid of anything at all, except getting caught doing the thing he knows he's doing, being shitty to you. Now, for the update. Thanks for sticking around for the update. So, the other day, I found out he threw a party, a big one, and guess who wasn't invited? Me. Yeah, that's right. The whole village was buzzing about it, and there I was, clueless and alone, feeling like a complete idiot. I heard about it the next day when I bumped into one of his friends at the store who, by the way, had the nerve to ask why I didn't show up, as if I had a choice. Turns out the woman he's been seeing was the guest of honor. They were all over each other, or so I was told. I felt sick to my stomach. It's like he's parading her around, showing me that I'm just, a placeholder? A convenience? It's humiliating. And the worst part is, I just took it. I didn't confront him, didn't demand an explanation. I just cried at home, alone. But wait, it gets better. The next day, he comes over to my place, all smiles and charm, like nothing happened. He needed a favor, can you believe that? He wanted me to help him with a project for work, something I'm good at and he's not. And like the pushover I am, I said yes. I spent hours on it and he got all the credit. Didn't even thank me, just took it and left. And then, as if the universe hadn't kicked me enough, I got a call from my tenant. There's a problem with the house. Some plumbing issue that's going to cost a fortune to fix. I don't have that kind of money lying around, especially since I've been spending so much time at his place, not focusing on my own life and finances. So here I am, feeling used and walked over, and I can't seem to stand up for myself. I keep telling myself it's over, that I won't let him treat me like this, but then he calls and I melt. I'm angry at him for sure, but I'm even angrier at myself for letting it happen. He called again last night, all sweet talk and apologies, said he missed me and that the party meant nothing. And like a fool, I listened. I let him come over. We talked, and it was like nothing had changed. He's got this hold on me, and I hate it. I need to figure out what to do, but every time I think I'm ready to stand up for myself, I just crumble. It's like I'm stuck in this cycle, and I don't know how to break free. Thanks for hearing me out. My wife's new gym buddy turned out to be my cheating ex. So I exposed her lies at our anniversary party and watched her marriage crumble. A few months ago, my wife Tina, 35 years old, joined a new all-female gym. We live in an Islamic country, so an all-female gym is a requirement by law. After a few weeks, she started to become a lot happier and began talking about this great new friend she met at the gym. They even planned to meet outside of the gym. I was happy for her because she seemed genuinely happy and was trying to make me happy too. She became more appreciative and started expressing her love for me more often. She also started to be more physically affectionate, doing things she had never done before. Our life definitely changed for the better. We started talking and interacting more, and life started feeling great again. She would talk about her new friend Sarah and how great of a friend she was. She described Sarah as being similar to me, but with a more feminine and kind side. I was very happy for her and for us. However, a few days ago, I came home to find out that this lovely Sarah, whom my wife constantly talks about, is actually my ex from 20 years ago. She was my first serious relationship, and it ended badly. She cheated on me 2 months before our wedding. After a year of no contact, we started an on and off friends with benefits relationship for 7 years until I started dating my wife. Our relationship with Sarah was not a good one. It was a disaster filled with emotional manipulation and hurt. We slept with each other's friends and relatives, and she led me on and crushed any hope we had. When I told her I was getting married, she realized the game was up, and to her credit, she never tried to contact or interfere with my life again. It's been nearly 10 years, and I don't know what to think or do now. I have been honest with my wife about my past, and she knows the story of Sarah completely. But I don't think she knows that this Sarah is that Sarah. Any advice would be appreciated. My wife has been struggling to make friends in our new place, and she has lost touch with many of her old friends due to distance and them moving away. Asking her to end her friendship with Sarah might not be the best option right now. From what I know, Sarah has not done anything to sabotage our relationship until now, and has even helped it in some ways. TLDR. My cheating ex has become friends with my wife after almost 10 years, and I'm worried about how it will affect my marriage. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. If you tell her, she almost certainly will drop you, and if you don't tell her, she will find you untrustworthy. If I were her and you didn't tell me, I would think you guys made a fool out of me. So I will end the relationship between us. But comment 2. You need to tell her or this ex is going to blindside her and make everything worse. Plus, your wife will feel like you lied to her. Just tell her what happened and say you're not going to get in the way. But you don't want to have anything to do with the ex. Now for the update. Thanks for the comments on my last post. So, a lot has happened in the past week. Just when I thought things couldn't get more tangled, they did. Last Thursday, Tina threw a surprise party for my birthday. She invited all our friends and family, and guess who was there, grinning like she owned the place? Sarah. My stomach dropped when I saw her. I tried to keep my cool, but it was hard. During the party, Sarah gave a toast. She went on about how great it was to reconnect with old friends and make new ones. She looked straight at me when she said it. I could feel the old anger bubbling up. But then, she did something unexpected. She pulled out an old photo album from her bag. Pictures of us from way back. Stuff I thought was long gone. She handed it to Tina and started pointing out photos, laughing and reminiscing. Tina was eating it up, but I could tell something was off. After the party, I confronted Tina. I asked her if she knew who Sarah really was. She said no, so I told her everything, the cheating, the toxic, back and forth, all of it. Tina was shocked. She had no idea. She felt betrayed by Sarah for not telling her, and by me for not realizing sooner who her new friend was. The next day, Tina went to the gym as usual. I was a wreck at home, waiting. When she came back, she was alone. She said she confronted Sarah, asked her why she didn't tell her about our past. Sarah apparently broke down, said she was sorry, that she didn't want our old mess to ruin this new friendship. She said she had changed. Tina didn't know what to believe. She felt like she was in the middle of something she didn't sign up for. We talked for hours. It was raw and painful, but it was also honest. We hadn't been that open with each other in a long time. Then, 2 days ago, something big happened. Sarah showed up at our door. She wanted to talk to both of us. She admitted she knew who Tina was from the start, but she had no bad intentions. She said she genuinely liked Tina, and that seeing me happy with her made her realize how much she had messed up in the past. She apologized to both of us. I didn't want to accept it. I wanted to be angry, to throw her out. But Tina, she's got a bigger heart than I do. She accepted Sarah's apology, and they talked about setting boundaries. I was outvoted, but I couldn't help feeling like this was a mistake. The next few days were awkward. Tina and Sarah still went to the gym together, but there was a distance there now. I could tell Tina was trying to figure out if this friendship could survive the revelation. And then, yesterday, the surprise dropped. Sarah's husband called me. He said he found out about Sarah's past with me and accused us of having an affair. He was furious, yelling. I managed to calm him down and explain that nothing was going on. He didn't believe me at first, but I told him to ask Tina to see the truth in our home life. He did. He came over, talked to Tina, and saw for himself that there was nothing between me and Sarah. He apologized for the accusation, and before he left, he said something that stuck with me. He said that seeing how Tina and I handled this mess made him realize that he and Sarah had a lot to work on in their marriage. It's been pretty hard on us. But through all this, Tina and I are stronger. We're talking more, being more honest. It's like we're seeing each other for the first time again, and I don't know what will happen with Sarah and her husband. But for Tina and me, we're on the right track, and I guess, in a weird way, I have to thank Sarah for that. Thanks for reading. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.